PDRN has to be one of the most popular ingredients since 2025. It definitely had a hyped moment. After more than a year of being hyped, it finally gets down to a stable sort of status. And that's what we're going to talk about today, about the ingredient. What does it actually do? What is it? And what is the benefit it can bring to us? And whether or not if it's a revolutionary skincare ingredient that we would like to have it in our skincare routine. If this sounds like something you would like to continue watching, then let's just keep on going, give this video a like, and let's go. Hi guys, my name is Rena. If you're new here, then welcome. Today we're talking about this very viral ingredient, has come down a little bit now, which is PDRN. This one stands for, let me read it out, polydeoxyribonucleotide. It is a very long chemical compound, but as we break it down, you'll realize why this name is as such. There's all reasons behind it. PDRN is a regenerative skincare ingredient that is derived from salmon DNA that is meant to repair, hydrate, boost the skin collagen production, and enhance our skin elasticity as well as barrier function. That was the statement of PDRN, and in that sentence, I think it has everything that I ever want for my skincare, but also raises the question, what is salmon DNA? I think when I first heard salmon DNA and when I first heard PDRN, a lot of products saying this is coming from salmon sperm. And I'm like, oh, okay. I'm not quite sure how I feel about it, but actually it can come from any purified DNA fragment from salmon. So it doesn't have to be the sperm. The cells can have this DNA fragment, and that's fine. The DNA fragment is called polynucleotide. So that's where you have your P and where you have your N from PDRN. It is extract from salmon reproductive cells. Why this is so popular, why it's so hyped, is because roughly have 95% compatibility to our human cells. So when it gets into our body recognizes it as a friendly building blocks, and we're more easily to accept it for cellular repair rather than a foreign body. It's like when you knock on the door, you don't know who this is, and you open it, we're like, long lost a friend, a relative that I haven't seen in so long. So you would just more welcome to welcome it in without asking any questions, rather than someone's trying to selling you something at the door, you'd be like peeking through. I'm like, who are you? 10,000 questions before you get them, and you decided to turn them away. So that is why this particular DNA fragment, and also get into PDRN, it's very popular. And I think medically start with injection treatments, because salmon DNA fragments, the PN, is injectable treatments. It is a longer chain of the DNA fragment, where PDRN, so further derived, is a shorter chain of DNA and is mainly used for topical serum or masks that we see these days from our skincare world. If you're particularly following K-beauty, you know salmon DNA has been popular for a long time. And the product I'm going to talk about today are all K-beauty products as well. Now we know a little bit about it, what does it actually do? The ingredient itself is actually very interesting. It has this really interesting dual mechanism. So it can calm your inflammation, and at the same time, it stimulates the fibroblasts to produce the more collagen and elastin. So they're doing two things at once. Once it gets into the skin, it activates the receptors in our skin cell to begin repair your damaged tissue. And it also provides some raw building blocks for synthesis of the new DNA, new RNA, which in shorter, understandable, normal human words, it helps the cell turnover a lot faster. So imagine you have an acne scar, or you're having an acne that will become a scar. You're using salmon DNA particular product or PDRN products. It can help the inflammation, and it can also at the same time to telling the body to fix this area where you had potential scars forming. So in no time, nobody can tell that you ever had an acne here. So it works really good in terms of repairing, like saying post-treatment scars, short-term scars, sun damages, and all kind of like skin wound or skin injuries, especially if they're surface ones and if they're new recent acquired injuries. And it's also really good for hydration. It boosts all the hydration because it helps producing collagens. So all your skin metrics where they have the dent, it helps to synthesize new ones. It plumps out. You always have new, plumper, brand new cells on your face or inside of your skin. So you have this kind of glass skin. And that is particularly something K-beauty was after. So I get it why it was so popular. And one extra bonus is because they have this highly biocompatibility to human cells, it is really safe compared to a lot of other active ingredients that we used to talk about, vitamin A, vitamin C's, also some niacinamides people can get irritations about. This is much safer because the body recognizes it as an easy old friend rather than something quite foreigner. So it's really good for sensitive skins, causing less reaction and a higher conversion as well. At this point, I'm like, okay, give me all 7 DNAs to my skincare. I need it. But does it actually work on our skin? Unlike retinol, unlike vitamin A, we had more than 20 years of scientific background studies on a lot of people for a prolonged time. Short answer form is yes, but it's not a main character. It's nowhere near as retinol or vitamin C, but it does have clinical trials that's been done, been proved. It definitely has some improvement to the skin, and there's definitely injectable treatments that use at medical clinic. So there are some scientific backgrounds, and it's a legal ingredient, and it's not completely nonsense. However, the trials are pretty small in their scale, and like I said, it's a new ingredient, so the many years of they've been testing it is relatively shorter, so less reliable compared to vitamin A for sure. And a lot of this from the K-beauty world because they were doing the marketing, so it's really hyped. If you're getting something that's costing a lot of money, then it's probably not worth that much. And the results vary from person to person. So someone might just have a natural quicker cell turnover versus for someone or someone never had any other treatments. It also depends on how the laboratory was doing their tests and the clinical trials as well. So should we use it? The answer will be yes if you're after the following, but I also got the no's if you're after those. Here's a quick look, but let's break them down. If you're after some post-treatment quick healing product to help you skin to go back to the normal status or to repair your skin barrier, just strengthening it, calm the inflammation that you got from acne or some irritations from the seasoning change or other products as well, increase the hydration of your skin level, or to get that subtle glow, the glass skin looking, you're absolutely right of choosing PDRN. But just looking at the statements, a lot of other ingredients, niacinamides, peptides, ceramides, vitamin A, vitamin C can provide it too. But PDRN can be safer or can be a lovely alternative to your skincare routine if you want to swap out some things. But if you're after that plumping volume of your face, lifting and tightening, or a full skin transformation through PDRN, I think it's a no, especially for topical serum version. So if now you're after those area, I think that is all for today's video. We know what PDRN is. It is fun, it is interesting to know, but it's not the one for a skincare. I hope you enjoyed today's video and I'll see you next time. Don't forget to give a like. But if you're like me, loving having alternatives, many options, trying new things in the skincare world, keeping something new in your skincare routine, then let's keep on going. The reason why I like it because I have this non-scientific backup theory in my mind. Imagine you're having KFC for the entire week. On the 6 days, for 5 days, let's just say, for the 6 days of having KFC, the excitement will be here, the deliciousness of the food will be here. And compared to you haven't had KFC for an entire month or 3 months, the first day of you ordering your KFC, I can smell it miles away, and the hype, excitement, the delicious crunchiness and the juice coming from the chicken is absolutely high up beyond the taste that I had for a week, but it's actually the same thing. So I think our skin works the same. If you spare it from the same product for a little while and then go back to it, it might actually respond a lot better because it forgot how good it was. It just needs to be keep reminded. And yet I don't want to miss out all the benefits from all these supporting ingredient that from the serum. So I like to swap out stuff. where they're still giving me some sort of similar results to my skin, and I can also see which one works better for me. So that is why I would go on and try PDRN. So if you are deciding to use PDRN, there are two things you need to know. One is the concentration, the other is the source. Where is PDRN from? Concentration is easier to understand. If you know your retinol, you've tried vitamin C's, you see them constantly mentioned in their product. However, PDRN don't have an official standard because, like I said, relatively new product, and it's not as crucial as the retinols or the vitamin C's. But we do have common sense levels of concentration. For injectable ones, they're usually from 1% to 2 or more. So if you're having really high concentration injectable PDRs, then there sounds about right. For topical versions, usually from 0.5% to 1% is standard effective level. If you're getting something, it's from 0.1 to 0.5%, then they are minimal, but they're considered as introductory level. They're not nothing, but they're definitely a lot mild, and the amount of those benefits you're gonna get from what I mentioned probably not as good as to something's 1%. But high concentration does not always mean better. So I think keeping it around 1% is where I would go for it. And also for the source. From everything that I just mentioned, I would assume it's coming from salmon DNA because that is the gold standard source to actually getting this DNA fragments. However, if you are someone wanting to try vegan products, we can have what we call synthetic or biotech derived PDRN. The reliability and the quality of these varies, depends on where is this kind of synthetic source coming from. And again, really little research on it, so it really depends and varies. I think most of the research is based on salmon DNA, and yet there's still another version of other animal derived. So you see as marine derived DNA, marine DNA. That is also a type of PDRN, but I would put a big question mark on the reliability of the source, and not even mention the concentration coming from them. How reliable would that be? So for me, I would go for salmon DNA to get the most out of it. So now we have everything we need to know with PDRN. Let's talk about two products. I want to talk about these two because they're great examples. The first one I have here is the medicube PDRN. PDRN has to be one of the most popular ingredients since 2025. It definitely had a hyped moment. After more than a year of being hyped, it finally gets down to a stable sort of status. And that's what we're going to talk about today, about the ingredient. What does it actually do? What is it? And what's the benefit it can bring to us? And whether or not if it's a revolutionary skincare ingredient that we would like to have it in our skin. It also had the calming inflammation abilities and healing purpose. So it's somewhat similar in what PDRN is doing for our skin. So I guess they're working together to increase the results or how we feel on our skin. And we might thought that was purely from PDRN, but no, it's actually a combination. I just want to point it out there, as in PDRN is not a miracle one. We do have a lot of supporting ingredient in the serum, but PDRN inside of the serum is really lovely. It's got good concentration coming from a source that I think is a gold standard. It looks like a pink serum because this is a natural coloring from vitamin B12, and it's fun to use. Having fun using skincare is one of my mission when I go through my skincare products. I always want to enjoy it. I love it. I want to be feeling like well treated, like a pamper session, a relaxation moment. This one is quick absorbing, feels really nice on the skin, works really well with other products, can be used at morning and night. The product is not a problem, absolutely love. And I like how it has PDRN, niacinamide, peptides in here. So it's a multi-antioxidant or multi-supporting skin barrier serum. So I would absolutely use this and considering repurchase later on if I'm after a containing PDRN supporting serum, if that makes sense. I will have this one linked down below. I got this from Yesstyle, so I'll make sure I have my Yesstyle reward code. So if you want to go ahead and purchase, you will save a little bit. If you can get a better saving from someone else, go ahead. The whole purpose of having this link or the code is to save you some money. This one retails for around $35 for 30 mils at the time when I was checking on Yesstyle. They're constantly having promotions, so the price have a little bit inflations up and down. And the next one I'm gonna talk about is kind of like an example on the other side representing PDRN. This is the Anua PDRN and Hyaluronic Serum. I have the K-pop Demon Hunters limited edition, so I've got a big bottle of 15 ml. This one you can get it from Sephora actually. I think it retails for $52 here in Australia. If you do get it on Yesstyle, it retails for around $30 for 30 ml for their normal standard version. This one just fancy as in it's a bigger bottle and also have this like key ring thing to. Let's have a look of the ingredient. So this one, as the name says, it is 100 plus PDRN plus hyaluron. 100 PDRN means it has 7 derivative DNA acetyl making sure it's coming 7 derivative DNA. And 100 means 100 ppm. And that converts into percentage is 0.01%. And I just mentioned, usually it's 0.1%. So I would say this one have a relatively small amount of PDRN. I wanted to confirm it, so I went on to their ingredient list. I don't know if I can show you here. So this is their ingredient list, and PDRN, as in semen DNA, is on the 21st. Let me point it out to you. 21st is here, so it's like halfway. I think it's kind of around halfway or maybe like a bit below halfway. So that corresponds well with 100 ppm being 0.01%. So I think it only has a minimum PDRN in here, and yet they call it as a PDRN serum. But it does have 3% of hyaluronic acid, and that's on the 5th of their ingredient list. Good. Hyaluronic acid is great for hydration boosting, so you get that glass skin looking, and different size molecules go into different layers of skin. It's absolutely a great ingredient. We also have niacinamide on the 7th of the ingredient list. Sounds familiar. We also have hydrolyzed collagen on the 13th of the ingredients. I have to mention about the hydrolyzed collagen again. I think the whole point of having hydrolyzed collagen as a question mark in my skincare routine is by the time you get it into your skin, the compound has to break down and to reform with our skin cells and then forming new collagen. The conversion rate in this whole process, unknown or not 100% sure. So you might think you're having 100 grams of collagen inside of you. By the time it breaks down, you might have lost, say, 20%. And then they have to find the receptors inside your skin, and that might have lost another 20%. And it has to combine with successfully become a collagen. It might lost, let's say, another 10%. So 80% lost another 80, 64%, lost another 10%, you're getting half of it in. I mean, that's a pretty good rate actually, but I'm just telling you, it could be a lot more loss in the whole conversion process, but I like it as it's inside of the ingredient list. Nevertheless, it's something, little something is better than nothing. And the serum itself is lovely. It got this light greenish color, so liquidy, feels like water on the face. For a hyaluronic acid who is so liquidy and not sticky, is actually really amazing. I love it, the serum itself. I just don't like how they're calling as a PDRN serum, where the PDRN is kind of down below on the ingredient list. But just for the serum itself, I actually think it's a really good, another multi-ingredient serum. It got niacinamide, it's got hyaluronic acid, and that's two main things will plump the skin. So I still love the serum, but just wouldn't love it as a PDRN serum. I hope that makes sense. Their azelaic acid serum, I just watched Dr. Dre's Empties recently and she raved about it. I do have that one too, so I cannot wait to give it a go. I know they make some good serums. I just think the marketing here, it's a little bit, and that is understandable because they're trying to sell the product. Otherwise, they wouldn't even have this collaboration with K-pop Demon Hunters anyways. And that's two really good examples. If you're after a good PDRN serum, medicube is the winner. If you're just after a nice hyaluronic acid serum, something fun to use, Anua is absolutely a great choice. But that wraps up the PDRN whole concept. I hope you guys really enjoyed it. If you did, don't forget to give me a like, consider subscribe down below. Let me know down in the comments what other PDRN products that you are really interested. I went online to check Yesstyle. Obviously, VT has a PDRN like a moisturizer or something that was really good. And there's another mask, one of my following YouTuber that I was watching, Kelly, she recommended it as well. If that's something you're interested, please leave a comment down below. I'm more than happy to give it a go. Or if there are other ingredients you want me to talk about, another common new ingredient that I keep seeing is acnotin. I think that is something fairly new but very popular as well. So that's on my radar to test. So if you got any recommendations, thoughts, please down in the comments. I will be more than happy to go through them and give me a bit of a spark of inspirations as well. I hope you guys all stay safe and stay positive, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye! PDRN is a regenerative skincare ingredient that is actually diverted from steam alone. Actually, and it's also